Oh, I have the 22nd on here.
February 24th.
I'm 2 days behind, apparently. I'm still on Tuesday. I knew that was wrong. Show number 219. It's the show for Thursday, February 24th. Coming at you live from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio. It's the Hammer Down Racing Report presented by Oakshade Raceway. Make sure to like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Hammer Report. You can also follow us on YouTube. Listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can also check us out at hammerdownracingreport.com. And we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I was looking at some of our reviews on the Apple Podcasts site. Yeah, there's like only one put a comment.
Yeah.
And it was complaining about the dogs barking. I think it was an older comment.
Really?
Yeah, and we got 1 star from that person.
Huh.
It was very sad. So if you could go and help, I think we're like at a 4.4 because of that 1-star review.
Dogs. You guys having connection issues with me again tonight?
No, not yet.
Not yet, yeah.
Because I came into the show like 10 seconds late, and it's weird.
Oh.
I was wondering if the ice out there is having some issues for me down here in Lima.
No, you're all good. So anyways, back to what I was saying.
Sorry.
Maybe somebody in the comments will tell us if you're acting funny.
I'm always acting funny.
Follow us.
I wasn't going there.
Leave us a review. It helps. And I was watching a thing today, how to better promote your podcast. And so apparently I haven't been posting enough on social media.
Really?
Yeah.
I ought to make up for that.
You ought to, but I don't know that your posts are necessarily about the show, though.
Oh.
I'm just guessing. I'm going out on a limb. Tonight on the show, we are talking about racing on ice. And no, we're not talking the hangover race at Sandusky. It's Sprints on Ice show happening. Actually, it's Fast Eddie's Hot Wheels on Ice, the name of this particular deal, up there in Michigan on Houghton Lake. And we'll be talking to both Nick Berry from Sprints on Ice and Barry Marlow from the Great Lakes Super Sprint Series. And they kind of have been putting this together for the past couple of years. We'll find out what's going on this weekend and what you can do to check that out. In the meantime, got to thank Oakshade Raceway. We're the fastest meet to race, racing every Saturday night during the race season. I did speak to Chrissy the other day, and they are working on the schedule. Jerry, there is an event that you will be happy with coming back to Oakshade. I can't say what it is yet because I don't know the official status of anything, but you will be happy. And unofficially, I believe opening day is going to be April 30th for Oakshade Raceway. The only official date that I do have is, of course, the Summer Nationals date coming up on July 16th for the Dirt Car Summer Nationals, late models.
3 days
modifieds.
after our Summer Nationals date at Montpelier, so same week. So I'll get 2 Summer Nationals races that week. Yeah.
Also have to thank Big D's Pizza and Subs, Ribs, Chicken, and more in Clyde. Give them a call right now. You can order some pizza, 419-547-1444. Order quick, though, because I think the snow's coming if you want to get your pizza delivered quick. Do that. Also check out the new cheese and pepperoni pizza bites served with the side of marinara sauce. And also, again, welcoming Big D's Pizza onto the side of the Ocho this year once I have new sides put on by Ron Miller Race Cars.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
I'll come up and help with that.
I'll make a lot of money on that one.
Also, thanks to Freeze Frame Photos, Headhunters Barber Studio and Salon. We got a new sponsor coming on board next week.
Really?
I think Ron might know who it is, but we'll talk about that next week.
Oh, come on.
Another racing-related sponsor. Imagine that.
That's not fair.
Why?
Tell me who it is. Just whisper it. Nobody will know. Pretend you're Joe Biden and whisper into the microphone.
It rhymes with abominator.
Really?
Yeah. Let's bring our guests on. How about we do that?
Hi, Barry.
Barry Marlow from Great Lakes Super Sprint joining us via video, and on the phone with us, Nick Berry from the Sprint Cars on Ice. Nick, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
All right.
All right.
I like it when everything works. That never happens. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
I'm good.
Staying warm?
Where, Nick? Where are you? Are you actually on your way to Michigan? Are you still in New Hampshire, or where?
No, I'm in New Hampshire. We'll probably get into it later on in the show, but we're setting up a challenge race for next year, and there'll be more of us coming out for next year's event.
Okay, you are coming out for this weekend, aren't you?
Not this weekend, unfortunately.
Oh, well, that's disappointing. Well, give us. Did you have anything to do with the event then at Houghton Lake, or is this all who put this thing together?
Well, it's really put on by Fast Eddie's, the Hot Wheels on Ice, and Sprint Cars on Ice is just a part of it. As you know, Barry and I kind of came together, and Sprint Cars on Ice. I own the naming rights and the series, and Barry came on, and he's got his cars down there, and we're trying to grow the brand basically out in Michigan.
All right. Well, Barry, give us a summary of what's on tap for this weekend, where and how people can get involved and check it out.
Okay, it's up at Prudenville. For those who are familiar with Houghton Lake, it's on the southeast corner of Houghton Lake, actually in East Bay. I don't lead with that because we just got done with East Bay down in Florida, not to be confused with that East Bay. But
East Bay's a little warmer,
and the weather's going to be different.
It probably doesn't.
And Larry Jewett won't be announcing.
That's right. But what Eddie set up actually last year with our test and tune, we did a test and tune this weekend last year, and people were so excited about it. Eddie he's always done the snowmobile races up there, and they're local right there. His brother and him build the track, and his sister's involved. And he says, you know what? He says, I think we could do a whole weekend with just wheels. And that's where the Hot Wheels on Ice came from. So this weekend is all going to be wheeled vehicles. Tomorrow is going to be, it originally was just going to be test and tune, but we have 5 or 6 lightning sprints that will be there, and they will start racing at 4 p.m. tomorrow.
Wow.
And then we'll run the feature at 5 o'clock. So we're going to kick things off tomorrow with the lightning sprints. That wasn't the original intent. We didn't plan on splitting them up, except somebody misread a calendar, and 4 of the 5 or 6 cars can't make it Saturday. So, and I wanted them to have a chance to race, and we'll still have some fun tomorrow. So that starts tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And then Saturday, and it's an open test and tune as well, guys. So anybody that wants to bring their car up and try it out tomorrow can do that starting at 3 o'clock. The lightning sprints are just going to work their heat race in and their feature in between that. And then Saturday, starting at 11, we'll have the full-size sprints there, as well as 4-cylinder street stocks, maybe side-by-sides on Saturday.
What are side-by-sides?
Side-by-side ATVs.
Quads.
4-wheel.
Okay.
Quads.
Gotcha.
That's a term they've been using up here, side-by-sides. So I
Sure.
guess my mule is a side-by-side. Because you said side-by-side.
So a 2-seater.
Yeah. That's going to be Saturday. And then Sunday, I think they're going to have 4-wheelers and anybody else that wants to race on Sunday as well. So the whole weekend we gave them the dimensions. Nick had sent me the layout, which is basically a 3/8 mile track. It's going to be a little bit smaller than that, but it's going to be what the guys are used to seeing for sure. So that's what's on tap this weekend.
Nick, the cars that you race over in New Hampshire, they're self-starting, aren't they? The sprints?
Primarily, most of them are, yeah. You don't have to by the rules. You don't have to. It's just convenient for us to do that. It costs us a little bit more money, but it's a lot easier to do things in the wintertime.
I didn't know if that would present a challenge to the guys running at Houghton Lake, having to push them off on ice.
I mean, they do push off on the ice. I've pushed off on the ice before. There doesn't seem to be any issues. in that aspect. And quite frankly, whether you run the cars with a transmission in them or you don't run a transmission and starter, the racing is, you wouldn't even know the difference, honestly. I mean, a car that's got more weight to it with a transmission and everything, I've done it, been there and done it, and you can beat the guys that, do not have any of that are just direct drive like a normal dirt car.
Now, Nick, have you given any pointers to any of these GLSS guys, as far as the tires, your windshield wiper and little windshield thing, or,
Yeah, I don't think they believe in the windshield wiper and the windshield deal. But, I've talked to a few of the drivers here and there throughout the last year or so, and, it's honestly a lot like the dirt. A lot of people think because it's on the ice that it's real slippery and that type of stuff. It's really not. It's not at all. You got really good grip with those studs on there. I mean, you're lifting the wheels off the ground, and even on when we run the chain tires on the cars, you're getting enough grip to lift the front wheels right off the ground racing on ice.
Just a big old stack of tear-offs.
Yeah, something like that.
Back to the events, Barry, this weekend. Is there an entry fee for each day? Is there any kind of purse they're racing for, or is this all for fun? I mean, how's that work?
Yes, both.
Okay.
I've told all the guys that put cars together. We have some sponsors that have stepped up, and there is a purse that I'm spreading equally amongst the ones that show up tomorrow and Saturday. And then Fast Eddie, he's still got his own deal. His deal is any car that wants to show up, the registration's $40, and that goes toward the insurance and the paying for the gas to do the track and all that stuff. But then he's also paying a purse out of that. So you got two things going on. I wanted to make sure, I knew how much time our guys put into it and get our guys come out as we start promoting this. So we have some sponsors putting in money, but then Fast Eddie's deal is $40. So the rest of the entries are part of that. If that makes sense.
For our listeners that aren't aware of the changes that these guys have to make to a full-fledged sprint car, why don't you go through that?
Well, see, that's why Nick and I were kind of hoping we were.
They don't have the big wide tires and everything. They don't have the big wide tires, correct?
The wheels are really the biggest challenge for everybody to try to get a hold of. Actually, the car itself isn't a big deal. Phil Gressman brought up the same car he ended the racing with last year, and he just changed the wheels and, of course, changed the injectors. I mean, they had, let's see, which way is it? Had to really lean it out. Is that right, Nick? I can't remember which way you got to go.
They got to fatten it up for the cold.
Yeah, you got to fatten it up. Yeah, there you go.
Right.
But and the only other challenge they had, other than just using the dirt car, was keeping that motor warm. Even when they were running, because we weren't really racing last year, but they really couldn't get their cars up much over 180 to 190 degrees. So that was the biggest challenge, was the wheels and keeping the motor warm. But other than that, that was the exact same car they raced with around Michigan last year.
Now, are the other classes like the street stocks, are they running studded tires or what's the deal with that?
They're all running studs.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they can kind of do what they want. They just can't run a stud longer than 3/4 of an inch. But I think some of the smaller cars, they're just putting the old fashioned way of putting screws in their tires. Whatever. I was never around that myself. So, but everybody's welcome if they want to come out and try it out. $40 gets you in, and you can go out and play and be part of the purse.
What about spectators? If somebody wants to come out and just watch,
it's free to everybody. I don't even think they're going to charge for the ice this year. I mean, what they were talked about was like $5 or $10 a car to park on the ice, but I don't think they're even going to be doing that this year. So it's totally free for anybody who wants to come up and watch.
Very cool.
Going to be concessions for people, or do
Oh,
they
yeah.
bring their own food?
No, there's going to be some concessions there. I think there's some food vendors, and there's definitely some good local restaurants right down through the strip right there. So
we're making this as easy on the fans as we can, and
absolutely,
they could come watch and have a good time.
That's what it's about. It truly is. I mean, it's really about having a good time. You know, there's the weather's going to be about perfect. You know, we're getting light snow tomorrow, but I think Saturday it's supposed to nearly get up to 30, which is going to be good on dust, right, Nick?
Sure.
Can Nick hear me?
Absolutely. Yeah, I can hear you.
Because the colder it is, the more ice dust and snow dust that you put up in the air. So that the humidity's up and it warms up a little bit, it keeps that down a little bit. So I think it's going to be really good Saturday.
I say just get the water truck out there. It'll be fun.
I think we ought to get a Zamboni.
There you go. That's a good idea.
Instead of taking the snow plows out after every heat race to plow out the shavings, I think they just need a Zamboni to go and tie it back together again.
So is the format going to be like
a hole yesterday? And
go ahead, Barry.
Well, honestly, I don't know what I'm going to get for cars. You know, I put a press release out Sunday because we had a lot of people wanting to know how many cars are coming. I think a lot of people thought it was just sprint cars. It's not just sprint cars. You know, it's like 6 different classes. And so there's going to be a lot of things going on, but it's all going to be cars and wheeled vehicles. And I honestly don't know. So I put a press release out because I didn't want people to drive 5 hours and say, well, oh my God, there's only 4 sprint cars here. Well, I guarantee you 4 sprint
keep
cars,
in mind, it's just an expedition race.
On the ice, it's going to be. Yeah. You know, so you're wanting to know a format. I don't really know yet. We talked about a couple of things. I thought about.
I mean, like heat races and a feature. I mean, is it going to be like a standard
I know, that's where
Saturday night thing? Okay.
I knew that's what you meant. I was just beating around the bush to it, but I would like the lightning sprints. You know, if we have 6 cars, I'm probably going to run 3 heat races of 2 each, and I'm going to have that set how they line up in the feature, and then we'll run all 6 of them in the feature. You know, I mean, give everybody a feel for the ice. You know, they'll get a chance to do hot laps. We'll send out a heat race, however format it is. I'm thinking initially we'll just run 1-on-1, and we'll run through from a drawing, and then we'll line them up on how they finish, and put the fast cars to the back, the slower cars to the front, and we'll let them all run together.
Okay.
Any names?
But I haven't really decided yet.
Committed to it.
See how many cars we have.
I mean, you could even run a heat race with all those sprint cars and then invert it to the feature.
There you go.
Right.
Or do it the way they do down
some ice time.
You could do it the way they do down under. They do a pill draw for the heat races, and then they invert that for the second heat race, and your combination of points is where you start the feature. Right. So each car would get 2 heat races and a feature.
Yeah.
That's how we do it in New Hampshire. We run 2 heats and a feature.
So, speaking of, I know, Nick, you mentioned here that this is just another exhibition. I believe the first exhibition you guys put together was last year, and then there was talks last year that this was actually going to be a Sprint Cars on Ice event. But this is still just an exhibition. I see that there's plans in the works for next year for something like that. One of you guys want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, Barry and I both really just thought that it was going to take off. I think a little bit more in Michigan, given his dirt car counts, and you know, quite frankly, the way he has it set up, it's super easy just to bolt on some studded tires and take your dirt car out there and go racing and have some fun. But I think a lot of people were just, and correct me if I'm wrong, Barry, but I think a lot of people were just you know, a little bit wary of this and and if it was a one-time deal or what. And that's kind of why we came out with a schedule, to let people know that, this is something we plan on keeping around and actually having a real schedule for next year, and not like a one-off deal. I think that might have scared some people off at first. So I think coming out with a schedule will help it grow. And, quite frankly, to be very honest with you, that's why we're not coming down, because it is an exhibition type thing again. And we want to run with more cars and, really see where everyone stacks up against each other.
Is anybody from New Hampshire coming over to Michigan for this?
Not for an exhibition, no.
Okay. So next
Scott,
year, go ahead, Barry.
Last year was strictly a test and tune. It wasn't even an exhibition race. When we got there, it was tied into a snowmobile race, and there was no way in God's green earth or white snow that I could let those guys even open up the cars. So last year was truly just a test and tune. And then we did a test and tune 2 weeks ago at Misaki Lake over at Lake City, which was a test and tune. Now they will be racing tomorrow and Saturday, but we're calling it an exhibition because we don't know how many cars we're going to have. I have commitments for 6 lightning sprints tomorrow, which is a nice showing. And I'm counting on 4 cars that I know that have talked to me, but there's been 4 sprint car people from out of state that have talked to Eddie that's putting on the show about what studs to run and what the requirements are. So there's a little bit of a potluck. I mean, a black box. I don't know what we're going to have. I'm counting on 4 cars, which will still put
so
on
there could be anywhere from 4 to 8.
But that's why I put a press release out. I want to have fun, and I don't want people all upset because they thought it was all sprint cars, and they get up there and there's 4 sprint cars. But there's a lot of other things going on with street stocks and 4 cylinders and the side by side. So yeah, we're not trying to string anybody on at all. It's just, we thought, I had 12 drivers called me after last year's race, and I thought, man, here we go. I mean, that'd be a nice core. Well, they're not here. So I think a lot of it's because we had no schedule. And they really didn't know. Are they, like Nick said, are they doing it for one race? So I've already come out with a schedule. I've used the time myself to line up alliances with, because these are public. That's the other battle we've got, is they're public lakes. So we have to get DNR permits. We're working with the local chamber of commerce. So that's what I've been doing with this last year. And now, since we have it, well, now I came out with a schedule of five race dates for next year. And we're going to make this weekend. Yeah. And we're going to make this weekend the challenge weekend with the New Hampshire cars. So next year, this will be the weekend for Hot Wheels on Ice, and we'll make that the challenge race.
So these 5 races next year, are they at different locations? Or
3 different locations. We're looking at going to Lake Misaki twice, Houghton Lake. I don't know if we'll be at 2 different spots on Houghton Lake. I don't know if we'll be at Tip Up Town for one of them and then back on East Bay for this weekend, or if they'll both be in East Bay. And then our last one, I'm going up next week to the UP on the St. Mary's River. I grew up on a river, on the Maumee River, so I'm a little leery of racing on a river, but they've got 24 inches of ice. Wow. And they're starting the first annual St. Mary's River Roar. They're going to have it the first weekend of March, and we're taking 4 or 5 lightning sprints up there, and we're going to do a little exhibition for them. They built a 3/8 mile track. I gave them the map on how to lay it out. I was up there 3 weeks ago during the I-500 and met with the I-500 people, and they're quite excited about it. So I'm planning on making that our last race every year now. Is up on St. Mary's. Kind of cool. The winter they could see sprint cars, and the summer they see 1,000-foot freighters making the jog there. But so yeah, I think that's going to help next year, Scott. Is now the guys are going to see, hey, we got 5 dates that we put something together and actually crown a champion next year.
Is that schedule up on your website, or where can people find that schedule at?
It's definitely in the press release that I put out on Great Lakes Super Sprints on Sunday. So if you go to our website,
the press release, it's also on the Sprint Cars on Ice pages on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Cool. So there's going to be a.
Scott, I also emailed you that too.
Okay. So there's going to be a Great Lakes region champion for next year for Sprint Cars on Ice.
Yep, that's our plan.
Excellent. So how are things going over in New Hampshire, Nick? I mean, you guys have been doing some races this year for the Sprint Cars on Ice.
It's been a little bit light this year. We only got 2 races in New England out here this year. We still have plenty of ice. I mean, even it's been the last 2 weeks. We've had 4 days. It's been 60 degrees or better.
We'll take that.
It is nice, but not nice for the ice. So, but we do still have 2 feet of ice. The problem is the shoreline and getting onto the ice. Our entrances had been the issue, so we actually haven't raced the last couple of weeks because of that. And quite frankly, I don't see it, getting any colder to build that back up. So honestly, I think it's going to be a two race schedule, season this year, unfortunately, and hopefully, pray for colder weather for next year.
You've got a loyal enough group that if the weather does turn cold, you could do an impromptu race.
Oh yeah. We're up here. I mean, it's been going on so long. I mean, longer than I've been alive. They've been racing on the ice up here since, honestly, dating back to like the 40s, 50s type stuff. I mean, it's crazy how long they've raced on Lake Winnipesaukee and everything. And the clubs around here really got started and going, I think, 1979. And, we put our first sprint car out on the ice and, I want to say 2000. So realistically, sprint cars on ice, aside from the name, but there's been sprint cars on ice up here for 20 years.
Wow.
So it's nothing new. But yeah, our guys are so used to this type of weather. I mean, you got some seasons where you'll have 12 races and you got other years that are just like this. And, we get these cars ready and, they just kind of sit in the shop and we all pray for cold weather. And, if it's cold, we go racing.
It's just like during the summer, the weather is a major factor in racing.
Yep, absolutely. I think we should all race indoors.
There we go.
We'll get a really big hockey rink or something.
There you go.
Yeah, like extra large.
Do you have summer racing plans out there this year, Nick?
Yeah, my boy and I we do the sprint car stuff in the summer as well, and my son Caden, he actually just raced the sprint car for the first time this year at 14 years old. He did a traditional wingless sprint car, and he did very well. He won 80% of the races and won the championship and rookie of the year and all that stuff. And so we're actually kind of excited. I mean, it stinks that the ice racing looks to be over, but we've started on the dirt racing cars. I'm building a brand new XXX wing car for myself and working on his wingless stuff. So we're getting ready for the dirt.
So you guys race head to head against each other?
Caden and I haven't raced against each other yet. No.
It's a treat. Trust me.
Will that happen this summer?
No, to be honest with you, I'll be very honest with you. I don't like wingless sprint cars. So okay. I don't have any plans of racing those things. I'm a wing guy. I like going really fast. So, that's what I'm into. I'm not into the wingless stuff. And unfortunately up here, Caden, it makes no sense to me, but Caden is actually too young to race a wing car here, but he's allowed to run a wingless deal at a local track.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me, but you got to go by their track rules.
Gotcha. So when's your guys' first race weekend on the dirt?
We get going. We have like practices and stuff the end of April, but we really don't get going until May.
So pretty much.
But I mean, when it's cold out, we typically would run, the sprint car on the ice all the way through March, maybe into the first week of April. But it's just not going to happen, I don't think, this year.
Now, you don't run the same sprint car that you use on the ice on the dirt, do you?
The guys up here in New Hampshire, we don't do that. No, okay. I mean, obviously Barry and his group have definitely proved that it can be done, and it has been done. And, I don't know, maybe we have more money than brains or something. I don't know. We have different cars for different surfaces.
Gotcha. I was just more curious as to you'd be like the only guy out there with the starter not requiring a push start.
Majority of them are all direct drive push start, but we've done it on the dirt in the past. I mean, we have, and I've done it on the dirt. I've won on the dirt as well. I just got thinking of that. I've won with a transmission and a starter on the dirt as well.
Really?
Yep, against the direct drive.
So that could work then. So there's no reason
it absolutely can.
No reason we can't put starters in sprints.
I don't want to cause a war now.
Barry's covering his ears.
Barry, I'm losing you guys.
I think Barry's connection just dropped off.
Some traditions suck. Trust me.
Well, I'm thinking for the fans,
No, I'm a diehard sprint car guy. I gotta say, I like the push start stuff. It's just convenient on the ice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more horsepower to the ground. That's what it is. That's all.
Possibly.
Come see the Lightning Sprint. They got starters. Our Lightning Sprints have starters, and they can drive out and be on their own.
As race cars should.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy. What did we get started here?
So next winter, will you and the New Hampshire guys, will they be coming to these Michigan races then as well?
Yeah, we're not gonna come to all of them. I mean, that's 20 hours for us to go out there. 18, just one way. So no, not all of them, but we'll hit up a challenge race. Obviously, I mean, I'd love to go head to head with Daggett, and that would be really fun. And Gressman, just see where we all stack up against each other, and that'd be a good time. And but yeah, we've got myself and at least a few other ones coming. We'll see how many I can talk into it.
I think you might have an unfair advantage, though. You've got the experience on the ice, where these guys are kind of just getting into it.
You may be right, but
what was that, Barry?
He's going to watch the video from Saturday.
Will anybody be live streaming?
Don't think live streaming on Saturday. Don't think so, but we'll have video.
I don't think we're a live stream, but we're going to, we've had several media outlets reach out to me on Sprint Cars on Ice, and we have several photographers as well as drone pilots coming out.
Nice. I got some video that you sent me, Nick, that we'll play a little bit later on in the show after we're done talking to you guys, showing some footage.
Barry, that's one of the colder days, but good racing.
Get somebody to do at least a Facebook Live.
Okay.
Or at least
I'll see what I can
it.
do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep us posted.
I guess I could do that from the end. After I drop the green flag, I can just.
You're going to be busy. You could designate.
That's a
you
question.
Get Marshall Campbell to get out of his truck.
I think that's a great job. Les Hanna is listening in. I think he should do that.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Now, when you guys are on the ice, when you guys are on the ice, is there a flagman, or do you guys use receivers? Because it's kind of hard to see from what I saw in the videos.
We have a flagman, but the flagman stands on the inside of the racetrack because that snow dust wants to go outwards.
Okay.
Wow.
So the flagman's on basically the infield, almost like the Chili Bowl. And then we also use receivers as well.
Okay. Cool. Well, interesting. Well, I want to talk to Barry about the Great Lakes Super Sprints plans for the summer. So I think we covered all the Sprint Cars on Ice stuff, Nick, so we can let you go. And I hope I hope it warms up out there, but you want it to cool down. So hopefully it cools down over there in New England
Scott,
for you.
the way your weather forecasts work, if you want it to warm up, it'll get cold.
There you go.
That's right.
All right, Nick.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate your input, and we look forward to seeing you in the Midwest here next winter.
We'll be out there.
All right,
Thanks,
man.
Barry.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Nick.
There's Nick Barry from Sprint Cars on Ice. Now, Barry, you're a busy guy. You got a lot going on here. You got the Great Lake Super Sprints, the Great Lake Lightning Sprints. We had Jack on, the champion, last week on the show. What's coming up this summer with all your series there?
Well, we're going to race. Great Lake Super Sprints.
Where are you going to race? When?
Well, the Lightning Sprint, since you interviewed Jack last week,
Yep.
they're going to actually kick off first. They're actually going to have a 2-day show at Winston Speedway on the west coast of Michigan, called the the Outlaw Shootout or something. Now I feel bad. I can't remember the name of it. But it's going to be April 1st and April 2nd. And it's kind of an icebreaker thing. And then the rain date for that is going to be the next weekend. But Great Lakes Super Sprints is actually going to kick off April 22nd and 23rd. We'll start out at I-96. I normally try to do one race. I don't like to start out with the doubleheader, but that's just the way it worked out with Easter. I also don't like to race on Easter and give everybody a chance to be with their family. So we actually moved everything to the 22nd and 23rd. We'll be at I-96 in Crystal. And then I'm still working on another race for the 29th to put with Wayne County on the 30th. So we'll be over Orville on April 30th. And then let's see how good my memory is. Then May 13th and 14th, we run both nights with the All-Stars. Start out at I-96, the All-Stars and Great Lake Super Sprints. And then on Saturday, we go to Route 66 in Joliet, Illinois, and we run that track together. So that's going to be a fun weekend. That'll be a 3,000 to win for us. 3,000 to win, 2,000 for second, 1,500 for third, and 1,000 for fourth. And then the rest of my schedule or my regular payout. So that's going to be a fun weekend. Then we've got Memorial Day weekend. We'll be at Hartford and Crystal. And then we have a new annual race called Full Throttle Sprint Car Nationals at I-96 on June 3rd and 4th. That'd be GLSS and Boss is coming up and with Great Lakes traditional sprints. So that's going to be an all sprint 2-day weekend, 2 completely separate shows. They're not tied together. All of our shows are separate. So when we have a 2-day weekend, we don't, tie them together like some people do. We don't run heat races on one night.
But the traditional sprints and the Boss sprints will be running together.
Yes, they will be running together.
Gotcha.
Right. And then,
same with the super sprints and the all-stars. That's going to be a combined 2-day show.
Well, no, the all-stars and super sprints those are separate classes.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Just
I wouldn't do that to the guys. No, I don't.
I was wondering.
No. Yeah, it's going to be both of our classes. It just worked out that way. I don't really know how that worked out. We always ran with them at I-96. And I was trying to get a show in Illinois because really Joliet isn't that far from Hartford. And that's what started me looking. And I was talking to the Sprint Invaders over there in Western Illinois and Iowa, and we really couldn't put anything together this year. And I talked to Steve Sinclair at IRA because the IRA sprints out of Wisconsin are running with the All-Stars in the same class at Route 66. And Steve told me that I might get a hold of the owner there and there might be an opportunity to run an all-wing show and we take the 360s over there. And by golly, that's what we got done. So that's kind of cool. Then we come down to Fremont. We run Hartford, on June 24th. I think that's a Friday. And then we come down to Fremont on the 25th. And then we're back up to
You're doing this all from memory?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I'm used better than this, but
It is. I'm looking at your schedule. I'm waiting for you to mess up.
I can't remember what I had on
Help
Friday.
him out here, Jerry.
4th of July
July
weekend.
1st, you're up at I-96.
July 2nd. Okay, it is I-96. I know we're at Crystal on Saturday. Is that right?
You got Butler.
And then
Butler on the 2nd.
Oh, really? Okay, that's right. I moved Crystal out there.
Hey, you made it halfway through your
there's
schedule
a
without
lot
a mistake, Mike.
Well, I had the schedules pretty done in end of October, and then the rest of the time, the last 4 months are when the tracks finally work on their schedules. The rest of their schedule, there's a lot of maneuvering, and that's why it kind of screws me up once I get in the middle of the schedule. But then on July 8th, we go to Winston. We haven't raced at Winston since GLSS. We were scheduled there in 2016, and they canceled on us. I mean, I don't know. There was a SOD race there earlier. Somehow SOD got a race ahead of us. I think there was 300 people in the stands, and I think they got scared and they canceled. They canceled the show, but we'll be back there on July 8th for the first time. And then we'll be at Hartford. I try not to schedule against Kings Royal, but it's just the way it worked. We're going to have the non-wing and the wing at Hartford on. Thank you. Isn't that nice?
Can you read that? It's kind of small.
I just expanded it. Now I can.
Okay.
But we have we'll be at Hartford with the non-wing and the wing on the 15th, and then we have a repeat of last year. We do I-96 on the last weekend of the month, July 29th, and go on down to Fremont. That was a fun weekend. We had 25 cars down at Fremont last year. They had a good time. That was they treat us well down there. And then the first weekend of August, again, I try not to go against Sprint Car Nationals, but unfortunately, sometimes that's the way it goes. We haven't had anybody going to Sprint Car Nationals, and we had at Mount Pleasant and Silver Bullet. We have never been to Silver Bullet. Silver Bullet has not had wing sprint cars for 10 years out at Owendale.
Wow.
They've had non-wing out there, and I've taken the Lightning Sprints out there, but so that's going to be a fun weekend. It's right there on the US 20 corridor. We'll be, Mount Pleasant on Friday night and go straight east and be at Silver Bullet on Saturday. So that one's going to be a lot of fun. And then the 19th and the 20th will be at I-96 in Butler. And then we'll round out our championship on Labor Day weekend at Hartford and Crystal. So that'll be the GLSS schedule at this point. I don't really see.
So which weekend or what event are you most looking forward to this summer?
That's tough. Because I love standing in the inside of the infield in turn 4 and feeling those cars go around the track. I'm looking forward. You don't
have to choose.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good ones there. I mean, there's a lot of nice combos, and I like the doubles, and they seem to do good for us. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It really is. All the tracks.
Any extra purse shows?
Well, for sure, the May 13th and May 14th. That we've had 3,000 added to that, because what we did is we took our normal purse and we just added 3,000 to win. Wow. Our normal purse is 2,000 to win, 1,500 for second, and 1,000 for third. So all we did is added 3,000 up on top and played it down, so which makes it a really nice purse. And yes, I'm hoping to do that at a couple other races, but I haven't. I want to get this weekend out of the way and Sault Ste. Marie out of the way on Saturday or next week, and then I've got about 4 weeks to finally figure out all the details. But
All right,
that weekend's done.
Well, we got to get moving here, but once again, this weekend you got the racing on the ice there on Houghton Lakes, East Bay. Was it Prudenville? Prudenville, Michigan.
Prudenville.
More details on the GLSS website, which is GreatLakesSupersprints.com, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Or go to GreatLakesSprints.com and then just pick the car you want.
There you go.
Then you can go to all three of the websites from there. It's a landing page. In short,
well, we expect lots of photos and a video from this weekend's action.
Okay, we'll have it. We'll get it.
Keep us posted if somebody's going to do a Facebook Live.
He's really wanting
All
to.
right,
You should just drive up there.
Why don't you just come up?
That's
you
what
come
I'm
to the
saying.
infield with me.
Too much going
And you
in
can
the
sit in the
shop.
mule?
I can't get. I'm married to this place.
Oh my god! How much is? How
You
much
need to
is
get
it
a
to do
secretary
that
to
car?
work on your schedule
Seriously.
for you, Ron.
He's married to his secretary.
She's back home.
Yeah. Barry, it's always a pleasure. We appreciate you coming on, and good luck this weekend. It sounds pretty exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about it. Thank you, guys.
Have a great
Appreciate
weekend, Barry.
Thanks so much, Barry.
it. Yeah,
We'll see ya.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Here you go. There's Barry Marlow from the Great Lake Super Sprints, Great Lake Lightning Sprints, and all this is like 32 million other classes.
Yeah.
A lot of sprints, and doing the ice thing this weekend. Hopefully that goes well. It looks fun. If I wasn't going up to, I have plans with some friends coming in from out of town up in Detroit on Saturday. If it wasn't for that,
game?
I'd be going. Actually, I'd like to go to the hockey game, but I think we're going to a basketball game. I'm going to hang out with my friends.
Well, I don't know.
They like basketball.
I saw a basketball game where a fight broke out, so maybe
that did happen.
It did.
It is the Pistons, and that could happen there too. What was it? What was it they had at the Palace? Malice at the Palace.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Bill
Anyways.
Lambier and Isaiah.
No,
yeah.
I think it was after that, but yeah.
But Bill Lambier was the man. He had a right to take anybody.
All right. It's the Hammer Down Basketball Report. That's going to be our spinoff podcast. Yeah. You got some racing roundup action there, Jerry?
Absolutely. This week's Racing Roundup starts off. Let me try that again. This week's Racing Roundup starts off with the World of Outlaws Case Late Models at Volusia Speedway Park. On Thursday, it was Dale McDowell picking up the win. On Friday, Dennis Erb Jr. And then on Saturday, Chris Madden picked up the featured win. Devin Moran was crowned Dirt Car Nationals champion for the second consecutive year, wins the Big Gator title by 1 point over Smokey Chris Madden with 4 podium finishes. Next up for the World of Outlaws late models, the Rev on March 11th and March 12th. USAC Amsoil Sprint Car National Championship kicked off for 2022 at Bubba Raceway Park on Thursday with Emerson Axum picking up the win. And then on Friday and Saturday, Justin Grant swept the weekend shows at Bubba Raceway Park. Next up for the USAC National Sprint Cars, the Rev also on March 11th and 12th.
That might be wrong.
That might be wrong.
I might have just copied that from the other thing.
Oh, my prep guy failed me again.
Yeah,
I should have looked it up.
I
looked at it earlier. And
that could be wrong, is what I'm saying. It might be right, but I don't think it is.
Double check.
Check USAC.com.
I'll check that.
USACracing.com
I'll check that. You keep going.
All right. Arca Menard Series action kicked off on Saturday at Daytona. Corey Heim picked up the win. Next up for the Arca Menard Series, the General Tire 150 at Phoenix Raceway. Is this also on March 11th? I hope we're right. 7:30 p.m. on MAP TV. NASCAR kicked off the 2022 points season this weekend with the Daytona races. On Thursday, it was the Blue-Green Vacations duels. Brad Keselowski, I can't even say his name. Brad Keselowski picked up the win in duel number 1, and Chris Buescher won duel number 2. On Sunday at Daytona, Austin Cindric picked up the Daytona 500 win in a thriller coming down to the wire with Bubba Wallace coming home second. Ryan Blaney, who had pushed Cindric all day long, come home fourth. Next up for the Cup Series, the Wise Power 400 at Auto Club Speedway this Sunday at 3:30 p.m. on Fox. The Xfinity cars were also in action this weekend, and the Beef, it's What's for Dinner 300. The Austin Hill picking up the win Saturday evening. Next up for the Xfinity cars, the Production Alliance 300 at Auto Club Speedway on Saturday at 5 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. In the Truck Series, it was Zane Smith picking up the win in the Next Era Energy 250 on Friday night. Next up for the trucks, the Victoria's Voice Foundation 200 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Friday, March 4th at 9 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. And that will do it for this week's racing roundup here on the Hammer Down Racing Report.
And the USAC National Sprints are going to be at Lawrenceburg Speedway in Indiana on April 2nd. That's their next event. Atomic Speedway on the 16th of April.
Guys, well, I was going to say, it was kind of odd seeing the USAC cars racing with the Outlaw late models when the Outlaw started their own.
It's a big show.
Wingless. Well, with the Outlaw starting their own wingless series, that would
conflict there. Yeah, I see what you're saying. You know, Natalie Decker was supposed to make her debut with Xfinity team and Saturday's race, and I was looking. I think I was watching the race late, or maybe I was just looking at the results. I don't remember which. And I was looking. I was like, where's Natalie? Where's Decker? I'm not seeing her name. And then I looked at the results, and apparently she didn't. There was like 45 cars trying to qualify for 38 positions, and she didn't make it. So that's why I didn't see.
Did you see our former guest Amber Balkin during the Cup Series race for Busch commercial?
Twice, yes. They started talking to her, and then they had a wreck, and then they brought her. Yeah, but I also saw her running the ARCA race on Saturday afternoon, and another female driver, Breidinger. What's her first name? I can't remember her first name.
Tori.
She was
Tori? No.
Something like
we talked about her last week.
Yeah. I didn't have this in my notes, but she had, I think it was a top 5 finish. She was up there.
Very awesome.
Yeah, so pretty cool. I got some breaking news. Just in before we went on the air tonight, Ryan Newman will be driving in Tony Stewart's SRX series this summer. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Is that going to be his only ride then for the summer? Is he not?
As far as I know, I think he's just doing. He's kind of going to do the Kyle Larson thing. Probably not as jam-packed of a schedule, but going back to his roots and doing some stuff there. I think is what I read. But yeah, the SRX series, he'll be competing for that. So very cool. Coming up in just
Tony
a little bit.
Breidinger, by the way.
Tony, yes. Thank you.
Got top 10, finished 9th.
Thank goodness for the internet.
Yes.
Coming up, we'll be giving away a Big D's Pizza for how many in just a little bit. First, we got to mention Freeze Frame Photos. Contact them for all your racing photo needs, from action shots to victory lane. They have all your favorite drivers. They also have your least favorite drivers.
Really?
There you go. It's pointing at them. They have all kinds of cool memorabilia, I guess, can koozies, all kinds of little knickknacks that they can put the photos on, some cool stuff. So if you're looking for a gift for a birthday's coming up for a race car fan, driver, whatever, give Charlie a call at 419-476-9978. And again, you got the cool calendar back. What month are you on? Is that still February?
It's still February. I have it on the right month.
Okay.
For now.
I feel like I've seen that same picture for a while.
Well, the first one was very similar. Charlie got a lot of that infield view of me that night, so I think March is probably pretty close to the same.
Right, and you can choose your pictures. You
don't
have
a side by side one with. I believe that is. That's one of Andy King's trucks. Oh yeah, I know exactly who that is. That would have been your feature winner. I'm side by side with Greg Detray.
Whoa.
But they make the custom calendars, and you can pick. You can have different drivers for each month. You can pick all your. You can pick the order. You can pick the photos.
The one time, so he didn't have a ton of photos of me, so he was able to come up with 12 to put together a calendar for me. So I'll take it. Hey, it's one of the neatest things I've ever had of my racing careers, and I think it's really cool to have that on the wall. And can't thank Charlie enough for great work.
Are you going to be racing with the dirt trucks this summer?
At least a few times. I I can't race at Lima Land.
That's going to be an issue, though, working Montpelier for if.
Well, that's the weekend of the Keyser Memorial.
I think it is.
So that weekend is mine. That's
okay.
The only weekend I take off for the year. I'm not missing the Oakshade race if I can't help it.
It's got your name on it, so that's cool.
That's where Dad got his first feature win at. That track has a lot of sentimental meaning to me, and I love coming up there. Not just because I get to hang out with you guys, but
that is a real bonus.
Yeah, it is.
That's the bonus. That's the kicker. That's what just puts it over the top. Everybody up there. Like last summer, I came up there by myself. I didn't have a crew. Dave Gumby Jr. come over and help me out all night long. Chris Blykamp, let me park next to him. Him and his boy, they gave me lots of help all night long. Craig Dipman came over, gave me setup help, got me faster. I can't thank everybody up there enough. So, your brother and sister-in-law, they were right there helping too.
They probably helped you more than they helped me. We'll have that Oakshade Raceway schedule should be coming out here within the next few weeks. Looking forward to that.
Before the end of April?
I believe so. Also, speaking of the guy over there, Ron Miller Race Cars, give him a call, 734-856-7223.
Oh, yeah.
For race cars, parts, safety equipment, bodies, whatever. Everything a racer needs.
I had that on the wrong side. I had that on his side. I want to get that over to your side.
I'm so confused. We got some racing news here. Myatt Snyder was in a pretty gnarly looking accident on Saturday night during the Xfinity race. Got up into the catch fence on the last lap, and it ripped the motor out from the car.
Left a whole lot of his race car on the track.
And some of the parts, I guess, went in the Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin's area or something, their owner area. There was a piece of suspension embedded in the grill of their bus or something.
I was just so glad that none of it got up into the grandstands.
Yes.
I think they had grandstands back there, but yeah, the fence did its job. He actually was okay, and if you missed that crash, here's what you missed.
They are 2 and 3 wide behind him. Crossover, that's Austin Hill in the 21. Big crash, up and over. Caution is out.
I think that fireball going through the grass was the motor.
Yeah, that was indeed.
That was pretty. The thing that got me about it was how abruptly that car stopped when it got up into the fence. That's when it gets a little scary.
Yeah.
So, but he's okay. I think he may have hurt his foot or something.
I think that's when it hit that pole and did a lot of damage to that. It's a good thing that was the last lap. They would have had to really delay that race.
They would have been racing until after midnight. Michael Andretti.
Racing.
No, never. Michael Andretti is trying to form a Formula One team under the title Andretti Global, with his sights set for the 2024 season to make its debut.
Wow.
So, and I guess some other Formula One teams have expressed interest in helping out with supplying parts, etc. But keep an eye on that. Wheelgate became a big thing at Daytona this weekend. Team Penske and Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing had wheels confiscated and are said to have modified the holes in them. I don't fully understand it. I think the way I understand it sounds like there's holes that when they put the wheel in, kind of lock it in place. Yep. And then there's a pin or a tab that comes up on the one lug nut that's supposed to keep the lug nut in place. But from let me just read you what he says here. Penske claims that it notified NASCARs of inconsistencies in the wheels, which are all supposed to be identical for all the teams. Quote, we had contacted NASCAR a week before and said that the wheels we were getting were not all the same, and we felt we needed to modify the holes where the drive pins go, Penske said. We didn't really get any feedback, and at that point we went ahead and opened the holes up. Len Wood of the Wood Brothers said that there is a clearance issue with the wheels, and the wheels expand from the heat and friction on the track. Wood believes it would be more of an issue on tracks where the brakes are used extensively, such as Martinsville and other short tracks and road courses on the NASCAR Cup schedule. more wheel news. Kaz Gralla, he lost a wheel after first round of pit stops in the Daytona 500. Shortly after that, Justin Haley suffered a broken rim, which I believe NASCAR was saying because it vibrated because they didn't get the wheel tight or something, and that's what possibly broke the rim on that. Both the 31 Colleague racing machine driven by Haley and the number 50 Money Team racing machine driven by Gralla lost their crew chief, jackman, and tire changer for 4 races. Team Penske and RFK Racing have not been penalized for opening up those holes. NASCAR issued the following statement. NASCAR met with next-gen suppliers and several race teams this week to discuss wheel specifications. Following that discussion, NASCAR made small adjustments to increase the upper tolerance on pin and pilot bores for Fontana. NASCAR will reevaluate with suppliers and race teams and determine a path forward following this weekend's race. So,
long story short, NASCAR agreed that the unauthorized changes that were performed by the teams actually made things safer.
They made sense, but they still penalized
the guys,
the wheels that weren't on right
yeah.
during the race because
So let me get this straight now. They take 3 guys that are the most competent in changing tires, take them out of the equation, and put 3 rookies in to change tires next week. That one makes sense.
Well, when you put it that way...
I'm sorry. I'd really like to talk about some of the changes that have been made to the new cars, Scott.
I was trying to find a video that actually showed how the nut and everything, real detail in the pilot holes and see what it all looked like, and I could not find anything that would actually, show up close everything that it was. The only thing I could see was the little pin that stuck up. That keeps the nut from backing off.
Did anybody notice the cars that did get a flat tire? And there were only a couple.
Well, that was another issue. Yeah, when the tires went down, the cars bottomed out.
The cars have a belly. The cars have a belly pan, which is supposed to make them more aerodynamic and safer and faster. But you get a flat tire. Now that's okay at Daytona because flat tires are kind of rare. What's going to happen at Martinsville, Bristol, where there's a lot of contact and a lot?
Wasn't it?
They're going to be wearing the rollback guys senseless.
Joey Logano was after that crash. I mean, I don't think he was in the crash, but spun and cut down some tires, and he couldn't move. He was like high-sided.
In the grass.
Yeah, and it's those low-profile tires.
After the victory lane photos, they had to go out and jack up the car and change the tires so they could make it back to the victory celebration.
Is there a solution to that at this point? I mean,
boy, I don't know what it'd be, Scott, because they're very dedicated to the ground effects with the belly pans, and they're dedicated to the 17-inch wheels. I suppose.
Could they get a thick, little higher profile tire? Would that work, or would that cause issues up in the wheel well?
Maybe they can mandate a ground clearance because they've got coilovers similar to what they run on dirt late models, and maybe they could mandate a ground clearance so that if somebody got a flat tire, they could make it back to the pits. I see a lot of drama this year. I really do.
Growing pains with the new car.
Absolutely.
Hopefully they figure it out. Persistent rain throughout the week, creating oversaturated grounds at Magnolia Motor Speedway and the Rev has forced World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series and track officials to cancel this weekend's events. Neither event will be made up. Next up is the Cotton Bowl Speedway in Page, Texas for the Texas Two-Step on Friday and Saturday, March 4th and 5th. Kenny Wallace on his future in racing said the following, quote, I want to be very clear because sometimes people don't hear all of the story. Wallace, 58 of St. Louis, Missouri, went on to say, this is my last season racing all over the place. Last year, I ran 82 races, 22 of them in other people's cars. I've been everywhere. I raced in Montana, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, all across the country. This is my last year of doing that, but not my last year racing. He plans to focus on continuing to race near home in the next years after this. This is kind of like he's kind of doing a
A slowdown tour.
Farewell.
A slowdown tour. Yeah, where he's putting some different classic looks on his modified from his career, I guess we could say. And finally, last bit of news here I have is the NTT IndyCar Series will kick off its season at the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg in St. Petersburg, Florida, this Sunday at noon on NBC. And with that, yeah, I got an answer.
Have we talked about it all? We've always talked about the new cars in NASCAR. Auto Club Speedway was supposed to be a short track when they came back this year.
I was thinking of that a few weeks ago, and I was like, yeah, because they were going to change that to a half mile, right?
Exactly.
But I thought that was a long-term plan.
Where did it go?
It was supposed to happen, and this was supposed to be the first race on the half mile. Supposedly, in the story I read earlier today, it's still happening, but there's no longer a timetable.
Huh.
COVID caused a worker shortage, and they were unable to complete the project in a timely manner.
Supply chain issues.
Yeah,
couldn't get asphalt.
I think they had plenty of asphalt to do the Coliseum.
The Russian invasion.
Well, that's
is
where
causing
the asphalt
problems.
went, Jerry.
60 miles away. They could have.
That's where the asphalt went.
Moving on, your chance to win a Big D's pizza. We're going to do our how many here. Last week's how many was how many cars would finish on the lead lap of the Daytona 500. And we thought it might be more of a tame race.
Yours truly lost that one big time.
Brad Keselowski was a major factor in that not being the case. 15 cars ended up finishing on the lead lap. So I picked 23. I was the closest to that. Say what?
Brad Keselowski.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
Mr. Plow, that's his name.
I don't
Mr.
think
Plow.
Brad had any intention of wrecking anybody. He was just
trying to help.
Too aggressive.
He was trying to help too much.
To him,
and at the wrong places.
The Fords only seemed to line up with the Fords. When they tried to line up with it wasn't.
I was just going to say, I think he picked the wrong cars to bump draft with.
Yeah.
Well, the car he turned on his lid was a Ford. Wood Brothers, 21, Harrison Burton. I shot your theory down.
Yeah. That was one of how
5.
many?
Well, that's true.
He was betting 20%.
Our listener winner from last week was Brian Hammer, who guessed 17.
And here we were making fun of him for that pick. Oh, my.
Yeah, I know. You remember that. Yeah, I talked to him like the next night. He's like, I don't remember I didn't actually hear what the question was. I just guessed 17. What was it? I was like, you dork. So congratulations. He wins a Big D's pizza. This week's how many, and your chance to win a Big D's pizza is, I haven't been looking at the comments. My bad. Hopefully there's nothing here. What's that? You should make a Hammer Down Racing Report calendar available on your website. Shots of you, yeah. Well, I bet you if you contact Charlie, he can make a Hammer Down Racing Report calendar. I'm sure he's got pictures of us somewhere.
Put Jerry on the cover.
There we go. Which should be a special edition.
We didn't do during our graduation. We should have pulled up on the front stretch and got a picture of us side by side together.
We'll do that this year, Jerry.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll work.
Ain't no replay of 21.
I have nothing to do with
it. Oh, you're right.
You organize it this
I'm
year.
not losing this time.
So this week's how many is going to be, and I don't even know how many cars are actually starting, but how many cars will finish on the lead lap of the IndyCar Firestone Grand Prix at St. Petersburg? Yeah, I'm doing an IndyCar how many?
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I might have to get my steering wheel out and go practice this on iRacing to kind of
right and left. So
quick, somebody tell us how many cars will be starting.
How many are going to finish on the lead lap is the thing, and Dean says 11, so I have to guess first. I'm going with 11. I like what Dean's saying there, so I'm going with 11. Ron, what do you got? Wait, no, we should make Jerry go next because he was second closest last week.
Was I? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm stealing Brian's number from last week. I'm going 17.
And I'm landing right in the middle with 14.
Oh, Kind of spread out. All right. If you want a shot at a Big D's Pizza, go ahead and put your guess in the comments of our Facebook Live or our YouTube Live. And you can do that up until noon on Sunday, noon Eastern on Sunday. That's when the IndyCar race, I believe, is supposed to start. Yeah. So you have until noon on Sunday if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or, Amazon Podcasts, whatever. Actually, I think it's Amazon Music. You have time. Just find our Facebook Live video by going to our Facebook Live or our Facebook page, facebook.com/HammerdownRacing.
How about if Dean Henry wins, he's got to bring a pizza to the Ron Miller Race Cars studio?
I got nothing against that, but I don't think he'll be happy about it.
And he'd get some free airtime.
Yeah, well, he can be in the studio too. He can be on the show. Yeah, sounds good to me. I promised earlier. Nick Barry had sent this video over of the ice car racing. So before we get out of here, this is kind of what it looks like. I believe this is racing in New Hampshire, though, but it's going to be pretty similar to what you'll see this weekend. So check this out, and you'll see what I think they need to water the track down.
All right, he's on the 00 now. All right.
Wow.
Where'd they go? A lot of snow ducks. So what's that look like? It looks like sprints racing on ice. So that's
26 entries this weekend at the IndyCar race, by the way.
26. Okay. So
listen to those guys throttle up.
Yeah. The thing I've been worried about
they're getting
is
some bite there.
Yeah.
They're digging into that ice. They got to have 24 inches of ice because by the end of the day, they're going to dig a hole in
down to 12.
Yeah. All that snow flying, or ice crystals, or whatever that was, that was down there separating them from the liquid underneath.
Yeah, there is that.
I do like the idea of hockey rinks, though. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's already got a wall. Granted, they probably would have to be enforced a little bit, but you can have people right on the glass, banging on the glass like at a hockey game.
That's what the old Fort Wayne races used to be. It was right on the hockey rink.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of where the whole Coke syrup came from, because the floor was so cold, they couldn't get any traction, so they started putting pop syrup down to get more traction.
And it works.
Yes.
Now everybody does it.
Oh, everybody. Very nice. Thanks to Nick Barry for calling in, and Barry Marlow from the Great Lakes Super Sprints for joining us this week on the show. Next week, still working on David Siebers, talking about the sponsorship on his late model. Actually, John Nida sent me a message. He's interested in coming on and talking some racing.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we'll get him in here sometime next month.
Voice of experience there.
Thanks to our associate producer, Dave Kemmer, field correspondents, Matt Swander, John Young, and Doug Dock. Oh, there is, speaking of Doug Dock, I was watching the Sandusky Speedway Facebook Live on Tuesday, and if you do have a Dominator Superstock, formerly the Oakshade Bombers, and are planning on going to that event on the 9th and 10th
of April.
Yes, I suppose I should specify that. Where they are running the Superstocks versus the Fremont dirt trucks. They are going to make us run the 2-barrel carburetor. So, and I had to give my 2-barrel back that I was borrowing. So if anybody has a 2-barrel carburetor that I could borrow that weekend, let me know.
What size?
I don't know. As long as it fits my car, I don't care.
I got a 500 CFM. I don't know if it'll fit or not.
If it's a Holley 4412, and it probably, and if it's a 500, it would.
All right, it's good. Making deals. I'll have to come down and see you then before April 9th.
Or maybe I'll come up and see you.
All right.
There's a lot of them around, Scott. Shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah.
Well, I got time, so I figured looking early here.
Those Fremont truck guys rotate them around frequently.
Yeah, maybe I should borrow one of theirs so I can beat them. Maybe Corey's got one.
Maybe.
Beat them with their own stuff.
No Hammer Down hotline playback, yes, for this week. But if you'd like to call and leave a message, I did actually check it this week. I don't always check it, but 419-318-3081, 419-318-3081. Maybe you can call if you have an idea, maybe what NASCAR could do to fix the wheel issue.
Give us your thought on NASCAR Gen 6 cars in general.
And if you have any solutions for the wheels, for when they go flat and the cars can't move, and then we got to wait, and it's causing more issues because we got to get the tow truck out there to move them when they used to be able to drive back to the pits on a flat. I guess one good thing is they're not tearing up their fenders, flapping around the flat tires because they can't move.
They tear up the fenders until they get them slowed down.
419-318-3081, the Hammer Down hotline.
Yeah, give us a call.
Yeah. Thanks again to all our sponsors, Oakshade Raceway, Big D's Pizza, Miller Race Cars, Freeze Frame Photos, Headhunters, Barber Studio and Salon down there in Perrysburg. I got my hair cut this weekend, so.
See, I got to come up there. I'm way overdue. I'm getting shaggy and need
They'll do this
a little bit.
They put hot towels on your neck.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
It's pretty sweet. They got video games, and I believe there's free beer in the fridge they have there too.
You should have told me that.
Yeah, my buddy John, he knows how to do
I
stuff
might not
right,
make it back to Lima.
And the big screen TVs, and they're going to add more. So, we'll see you next week, 7 o'clock. Hammer Down Racing Report right here, live Thursday night with some exciting show, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
It'll be killer.
And
it'll be organic.
Check out hammerdownracingreport.com. We're out.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report, available on demand on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform.